All right, gang. Here we are. Hexy, back in Georgia. Yeah. I know. I said Tennessee earlier when I first started this stuff, but that's because I'm headed to Tennessee. Go back home. I'm going to go visit Hermann while I'm over there, all right? As soon as the Rebs push Billy Yank out of these thick old woods away from this creek, that's where we're going. All right, we're 2 turns in. We're going to start the 1 p.m. turn on the 18th, okay? And, okay, so AMFS was just marvelous grand, okay? I imagine if I started this game on the 19th, this whole map would probably be covered with counters. Well, at least in certain areas, I'm sure. I mean, we'd probably see an entire Union defensive line somewhere along this area in here. Right? Yeah, too fast? Getting seasick? Sorry about that. But we're not. We decided to start on the 18th. Now, I just realized something after 2 turns that Rosecrans doesn't get anything on this map until 7 p.m. on the night of the 18th, while the Rebs are, well, I don't know if they're constantly throwing reinforcements in, but they're getting quite a few, all right? Some of Hood's boys are going to show up on this 1 p.m. turn. All right, now, what's different here in this game other than AMFS? All right, lots of thick woods. You got full woods, you got partial woods, you got thick woods, okay? As you can look at the map right there in front of you where I got the camera, and you can see the thick stuff. You can see full woods, you can see partial woods, okay? And interestingly enough, some of these things you can shoot through. Partial woods you can shoot through at a cost. The full woods you can shoot through, I think it's 1, or is it 2? It's 1 or 2. Thick woods, you're not shooting through those. So this kind of reminds me Into the Woods in GBACW where you shoot through hexes, all right? No reason to discuss how lovely the map is because it's just a gorgeous map. But let's see where we've gotten to mix it up. Now, first things first. In AMFS, you were playing with, I think, 8 event cards. Is that right? 8 event cards? I think it was 2 and 6, right?
It was 8 each side plus your command card.
Right.
So
by the way,
24 cards at least or something.
There's a wardrobe over there. All right. Yeah, so you had 2 key cards and then you had 6 randoms. This one here, the sides get 1 key card and there's 3 randoms. But you've got so many formation activation cards. So there are 5 Union divisions on the map at the start. 6 Confederate divisions on the map at the start. And some of these commanders, like for instance, when Rosecrans CIC gets drawn, not only can he have certain things he can do where you roll a dice, he might be able to activate a brigade, or he might be able to activate a division. Wilder also gets to activate when Rosecrans Chit is drawn. The Rosecrans CIC card is drawn. Okay, now let's talk about CIC on the other side, or the core activation cards. Polk stinks. Bragg stinks. All right. Not only do Polk and Bragg stink, Heineman stinks. Okay. Martin and Pegram, I don't understand. I always thought he was a good commander. Steedman, who has been lucky. I mean, he gets to activate stuff on whatever dice he rolls. Van Cleef stinks, and he's right in the middle of the fight. These guys, and Liddell, he's even got a no orders. And I'm going to tell you right now, Heineman has rolled twice no orders. All right? And he's the one that's down here trying to push across. He is the one that's in the fight. Other units are fixing to get into the fight. Liddell drew a no. I think Liddell, he rolled a no order on his, or he followed. Let's see, Liddell rolled a 1 for no orders. Let's see, the Friction of War card on the first turn. Sure enough, Rosecrans followed the Friction of War card. The Friction of War card on here didn't affect. It was a division activation, but there's some changes on that. If there's a core activation, there's some changes you got to apply on Friction of War. So there's a Friction of War and there's a Fog of War. The only Fog of War stuff that I've drawn so far is on the first turn. That's what allowed Steedman to get on the move immediately. Now, I remember a story about Steedman where Granger, the Corps commander, was sitting down here in a headquarters having breakfast with somebody. So Steedman was left in command of all the forces that started up here. But we got that lucky roll. I needed those guys to get to the front. So I chose to activate that division and get them in march. And now these guys have 2 brigades have showed up down here to cut off the Confederate move from Liddell. And the other one went up here to hold force cavalry back at this crossing. They're probably going to try to destroy these bridges. Needless to say, the dice rolls I've had on trying to damage these bridges have epically failed. Okay? Wilder, thank God he got a chance to activate, because Johnson's brigade, that one regiment that was out there, when they activated, the whole division went on a maneuver. I tried to move him across to get across that ford. He was 2 movement points short of being able to do that. And then I was able to move Wilder over there now with those repeaters to get in front of him should he try to cross. And then good old Minty sitting right there in the middle of the battlefield in the woods. He's probably going to have to deal with the remainder of Johnson's brigade. And lo and behold, here comes Robertson and from Hood's division. And then you've got some artillery coming in for Johnson. So this is going to get interesting. Again, it's all depends on how the cards fall, how your orders rolls go, which, hey, that's great fog of war. You never knew, no matter how good or how bad a commander was, you never knew what he might do at a moment's notice during a fight. I tell you what I really like in this thing is just March to the Sound. And the March to the Sound cards in this game work on either side. So let's say you draw the Union March to the Sound. You can choose a Union unit that just fired, and you can have those Union troops move towards that Union unit that just fired. Have to be within 10 hexes to do it, okay? Or they can move towards the last enemy unit that just fired as long as they're within 10 hexes. I guess that's a sound thing. So that I'm not going to lie to you. 2 turns I played, and this next turn coming up, both of those have been my key cards for both sides. Okay, I could go random on it, but I figured that card is far too useful, especially to get stuff on the go to get it maneuvering. All right. Like I said, all the fighting right now is right here at the crossing here at Lee House or Lee Bridge. The Confederates have 2 victory point hexes right there. Got a unit that broke across from D's brigade from Hindman. He broke across, got into a close fight or close combat right here, drove them out, and then hit this artillery piece on a breakthrough. And because they don't get a chance to do fire at them, they don't get to do a defensive fire on a breakthrough and chase them off. However, the Union guns sitting right in here, they got a chance to activate, and these Union guns fired into this stack right here, and they have depleted both units there. And this one had literally just crossed the Chickamauga to get it out. It's going to be hard, especially with Hindman's poor command ability. It's going to be hard to get these guys across because you can't do it maneuver because all they can do is get to that hex. They can't go maneuver order into here. So I need to get attack orders, and I need to get it division by brigade. Can't guarantee that's going to happen. Like I say, Hindman's not the best of commanders. Govan, Liddell's division didn't even move. None of them did. No, not one of them moved. And Steedman was able to get troops down here now to sort of quell that. I'm thinking the next most promising activity will be with Johnson and hopefully Hood's men coming in right here towards, what is that? Is that Reed's Bridge? Yeah, toward the Wardrobe's Bridge right there. Or up here at the ford, so Dyer's Ford. I don't think Force is going to do much sitting down there in the corner. And guess what? We've already got 1 destroyed unit crushed. That's the Van Cleve unit that was crushed over there in that close combat that happened. All right, so there you go. Rocket Chickamauga. Got a couple interesting rules in it. One of the best ones in there. Haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I think it's Woolwich's and Harker's brigades. They have a tactic called advancing fire. They can actually shoot, then move, and at the end of their move, they can shoot again.
Wow.
And then you've got Wilder, of course, who was he was pretty much freelancing anywhere on the battlefield he needed to be, I guess. He's got those repeaters that get a 2-column shift to the right. So, yeah, this is getting interesting. I don't know how much of the fighting will be on the 18th, but I figure it's probably a good idea to hit as hard as you can as the Confederates. And hopefully they can. Or hopefully the Union can stop them and keep them in check. Right now they're okay doing it. They still hold all but 1 or 2 of the crossings where there's fords or bridges. I think these are a couple of fords right here they don't have hold, but they were nowhere near those to start with. All right, Rock of Chickamauga, Flying Pig Games, Herman's newest addition to the Black Swan system. I believe Claude Whalen had a lot to do with this one. Might have been some other people. Claude's been giving me some stuff on YouTube, some little tips and little knowledge things. But we're going to start the 1 p.m. turn on the 18th of September, and we'll get back to you after we get a little bit more going on. See ya.